What's up, everyone, and welcome back to OOTP for the Vancouver Canadians series. I said I was going to do a little bit more of this in the last episode. I recorded that a few weeks ago, but I probably actually just uploaded it like a week or so, maybe a few days ago at this point. So I do want to do this a little more. This is going to be at least the first part of the off-season. I did a couple things off camera. Our season score was, I believe, 54, which is average, which is acceptable because we made a wild card, and I don't necessarily expect to do that again this off season or this next season. I think it was a little fluky, but if we can make a couple moves, I think it's totally within a grasp to be a wild card team again. But before we get to that, we do have the playoffs to cover. This is the playoff tree. In the first round, we lost to the Kansas City Royals in that epic game. I'm going to say it's one of the best wild card games ever, maybe the best wild card game ever. And the Mets beat the Pirates. Mets went on to play the Dodgers, got swept. The Cubs beat the Marlins in 5 games. The Red Sox swept the Rangers, and the Royals swept the Indians. Red Sox over Royals in 7. Chicago beat the Dodgers in, Chicago lost to the Dodgers in 7, and then the Dodgers swept the Red Sox in the World Series. So I believe in this, Chicago still has not won a World Series since 1800. Does it say? Yeah, or 1907. They made the playoffs. Did they make the playoffs every year? This? Well, I actually missed the playoffs the first season. Wait, 2016. This was 17. Yeah. Yeah, this is the third. Yeah, because they made the playoffs in this year. So actually, this year was the year that they won the World Series in real life, 2016, the year it is right now. And they didn't even make the playoffs. But then they were a 108 win, 101 win team the 2 years after that. So they're really working their way back to relevance. So I did a couple of moves off camera. I'll show you guys the budget in a second too. If I can find transactions, we made some moves. If I can see, where is the transaction? Is it under here? Yeah, it should be. Transactions. Where are we on here? We released a few people. I don't know where the hell we are though. I don't see. Where does it say? I wish there was a way to filter this. Well, there's Vancouver Canadian stuff. We are still in. We offered a few guys like trainers. We needed a trainer, a bench coach, and a scout. I wanted to move on from our old scout anyway. I think I got Alex Anthropoulos back. He was like the one. He was the guy that I. Team voided option year of John Singleton. Oh, because he was terrible last year. Which is sad because he was really good the year before that. But we don't have a scout right now, so all we can see is OSA rating. So I'm hoping we can sign a scout between now and like the Rule 5 draft. Jose Abreu, or Jose Abreu. I didn't even know there was a pitcher named Jose Abreu. Can we... Is there a place we can see our transaction log? Oh, rosters and transactions. Maybe that's it. Yeah, transactions log. I'm dumb. So that's a bunch of computer stuff. Motion to motion. I want to see where are the players we released. Alright, so we released a few guys who were expected to make a bunch of money. Enrique Burgos was gonna auto renew for like 1.2 million. And this, I thought we were gonna be much more up against the budget, but we got a pretty sizable increase. As you'll see in a second. Preston Tucker was a disappointment last year, and I want to revamp some of that outfield, at least like the depth in the outfield. And we do have Braxton Davidson, who I'd like to have in the outfield moving forward as potentially our right fielder, although we do get Malek Smith back. I'll have to take a look at the roster. And then BJ Moore I cut because he didn't have a very good year last year. I think we can find a better utility man. And AJ Jimenez was due quite a bit of money to be a minor league catcher. I think I just signed his depth. So if we take a look at our roster as it stands right now, if we go to our 40 man, we don't have, well, the OSA doesn't like Braxton Davidson. He had a 195 OPS plus and 133 plate appearances though, so I think we're going to move forward with him as our right fielder, at least to start the season. That's the plan. We already burned about 40 days of service time anyway, so might as well. Honestly, we have Malik Smith coming back. He didn't play the best for us. He only had a 91 OPS plus, and in Atlanta he only had a 116 OPS plus, but he's a solid defensive center fielder, and I'm hoping to have him back. He's also a very valuable base runner. He'll probably be a 1 or 2 hitter for us, depending. I'm planning on non-tendering Jake Barrett, but I wasn't going to non-tender anybody until I saw how much they wanted in arbitration, which is going to be the key for us this offseason, is how much arbitration costs, because we have a lot of people hitting arbitration. Shea Simmons, I believe we sent to the minors at the end of last year, and he had a 250 ERA plus in the minors. Still walks a lot of people, but the OSA likes his time in the minors quite a bit because it gave him a pretty considerable increase in potential. So, I'm really thinking that's going to be a very positive sign. He had a 131 ERA plus for us in the majors, but I don't think he finished the year. Yeah, he didn't finish the year in the majors. I know that for a fact. But hopefully he can improve enough for us to be something valuable. There were a few minor league guys too, like Matt Reynolds, that I thought about cutting, but ultimately decided to hold on to just as depth. They weren't really due a whole lot of money, so wasn't concerned about it. So if we take a look right now, we have I decided to retain Joey Ricard too because he's a very versatile outfielder. He has solid ratings at all 3 positions. I believe they're above 60s, and he's only due about 800K in arbitration. So our outfield is set. We might get another depth guy or two on a minor league deal, but left, center, and right, we should be good going into the season. I might look into getting another right field option too. Jonathan Villar will more than likely be our shortstop. He can also play the outfield if we need him to. He can play right field. He's still a valuable player for us. 2.6 wins last year. Definitely a step back from it. Actually, it was a step up from his year before. Must have improved defensively, because I can't see a reason that his WAR would be up over last season. Although his OPS plus was almost exactly the same, so we might have just had something different with the ballpark going on. I have no idea. So shortstop, we're fine. We don't need to upgrade. Candelario is really solid at third base, although the OSA ratings don't really like him very much. He had a 135 OPS plus, and he was exactly a 4-win player for the second year in a row. So he must have slipped just a little bit defensively, but he took a big step forward as a hitter last year. 3 less doubles, but 17 more home runs, higher slugging percentage. If he can get back to having a 360 OBP, he'll be an excellent player for us. Maybe did slip a little bit defensively, but we can always deal with that if it ever becomes an issue. Ricardo Cantu is going to be our second baseman, although that injury does kind of scare me. But he was worth 7 wins last season, and he is definitely our best player. Led the league in runs, 28 home runs in 733 plate appearances this dude had last year. It's 363 OBP, so he's good. Scott Van Slyke is likely going to be our first baseman this upcoming season. Had the best season of his career, arguably. He played all 163 games for us at first base. Not the greatest defensively, and look at his really gross player gen face. Not the greatest defensively, but he had a good season for us. I had to take a look at this because I haven't looked at this screen in a while. Tace Vallet and Rene Rivera, so we need like another infielder or two. We don't really have a lot of needs offensively. I think we can survive with this team. Jorge Lopez got a huge boost, though, in overall, so it'll be interesting to see how he pans out. It looks like he'll be like a middle-of-the-road starter. That's what it looks like anyway. So if I set him as a starter... Alright, so he's only a 3-star starter. That's understandable. He had a terrible stretch with us, a 71 ERA plus, although his K rate went up. I think his walks were the same. I think it just might be a product of our poor defense. We don't have a lot of very good defenders. And our ballpark, I think, is kind of small, too. But we're in a pretty good shape, I would say. I'm going to set... I know his ratings are going to tank when I do this. But I'm going to set Trevor Bauer is a starter. All right, actually, never mind. When I sent him as a starter last time, it put his ratings all the way down to like 3 stars, and I didn't want him suddenly not being very good, but he was very up and down for us. Finished with being a 2.6 win player after we acquired him. Went 13-4. Not that wins matter. Struggled in really toward the end, as you can see from his last few games. He only had, I guess he improved as the season ended, but he had a very rough stretch. Like you can see, 5 runs in 6 2/3, 4 runs in 6 2/3. So he definitely tailed off as the season went on. He started out like 7-1 for us with like a ERA below 3. So I guess he was due for some regression at some point, but he was very solid for us last year, and I hope that his progression can continue. He's a very good pitcher. He was worth 2.6 wins in just, well, I guess he did make 23 starts for us. So he was an above average pitcher though, and he has 4 great pitches, great stamina. Could work on his control, but he's got excellent stuff. We have three starting spots pretty much set. Taijuan Walker can still improve, honestly, but he had an excellent run for us. A 153 ERA plus, went 6-2 with a 299 ERA and a 108 WHIP. Definitely happy with those stats. He also struck out 78 in 72 1/3 for a 9.5 Ks per 9. And I actually realize right now that 2 guys who have been traded in the last like month I have on my team, because I have Taijuan Walker and also Lucas Giolito as huge parts of the rotation. Lucas Giolito, I'm expecting a step forward from this year because he was pretty disappointing after we acquired him. Although his walk rate went down and his strikeout rate did go up. His home run rate went up by 5, like half a home run. He had a 146 whip. He had 95 hits allowed in 85 innings after only allowing 75 in 90 innings. But the walk rate improving is better. His peripheral numbers are getting better that aren't ERA. So I'd say we have three of those pitching spots pretty much solved. Jorge Lopez, oh, he didn't start for us last year, I don't think. Who am I thinking of? Oh, no, he did. We got John Moscott from Montreal, too, didn't we? Yeah, okay, so they had Moscott and Lopez. Moscott I wasn't impressed with, but we'll keep him around because he's making the minimum anyway. Maybe he can be a depth option for us. I'm just taking a look at the 40-man anyway. Bullpen, I think we should be set. We don't have very many good guys, but we have plenty of options at least. We have Chasen Shreve, Shea Simmons, Roberto Osuna. We have Bear Claw, and we have Segrist. And I'm probably going to re-sign Drew Storen, if nothing else, for depth. And Segrist, man, he had a rough ERA last year, but he's been above average for us, I would say, so far. Even though he had a rough go of things in the wild card game, I'm willing to keep him around. He's had a good run with us. So let's do salary arbitration now that I've wasted a ton of time. So if we go... So this is what... I feel like I've said this before, but... what you want to do in here, instead of going to the actual arbitration team offer, is you go to offer extension, and then you go to like 1 year. So we have $39 million available for extensions. Our budget is up to $135 million. So we aren't going to have a whole lot of money going into free agency. I want to see if we can save a little bit on Trevor Bauer, though. So what is the offer that he's expected? There used to be a way to tell. So let's start at like $5 million and see if you'll accept that. Alright, so I'm just gonna give random offers because there used to I know there's a way to check what players are expecting, and usually that's what they'll like sign for, pretty much. So Walker has 1 more year before he's free agent eligible, so we'll offer him this here, and the next offseason we'll try and get a long-term deal planned out. I imagine he's going to eat up about anywhere from 12 to 16 million, which is fine because I think we have the money for it available anyway. So let's also offer him $5 million. I don't imagine he's going to take that, but so 623. Let's try like 573. That's like halfway in between. Alright, so he took that. Probably could have gone a little bit lower, but let's go back to salary arbitration. Bear Claw wants about 1.6 million. I think we can get him for about 1. He's definitely somebody that you're not going to test the open market because we still have you under control. 125. He is taking a hard line on this. I think we can win an arbitration case though, so I'm not going to go too high. 1.5 is going to be my final offer for Bear Claw. Alright, he took that. Pretty much when they say they're going to sign means they're going to sign. So we're going to non-tender Jake Barrett. He was injured all last season, and I don't think we really need him. Alright, so this is the final year of Segrist arbitration eligible. So this is probably going to be the final year that we have him in general anyway. Let's try like 850K for Segrist. Actually, it's less than he made last year. Let's try like 1 million. He's like league average. So alright, halfway in between. 1-1. Give me 1-1. Alright. 1-1. Pretty good. Roberto Osuna, so he's at 4 years, 0 days. Alright, so we could probably get him for a pretty reasonable price. Let's try 2.73, or is it 7.8? We're pretty close on money, so let's try 3 mil flat and see if he takes that. Alright, cool. He was willing to take like a price cut. So that's nice to see. Jason Shreve is somebody I definitely want back. He had a very good year for us. Oh, so here it is, arbitration estimate. So if we go to like exactly the arbitration estimate, I think that's what they'll accept. So if I give him exactly the arbitration estimate, yeah, he took that. I think that's what it is. We're gonna be tight with the money here. I don't know if it calculates the whole time. I don't think it does. No, it doesn't. It doesn't calculate the whole time how much money we're spending. But I think we should have about 10 mil left over by the time we're done with all this. So we'll go 1-2 for Shea Simmons. It was slightly below his arbitration estimate, so I don't know what that honestly is. Last year of Scott Van Slyke, so we're going to have to look into getting another first baseman after this year. Definitely. But for now, this is a cheap option, and he played very well for us the last couple of years. So he wants a little bit more than I was offering him. Let's try 1.8. That's 1.5. 1.8. Alright. $1.85. Alright. So that's good for Scott Van Slyke. Definitely a pretty good deal. Jonathan VR's only got a couple more years, so you got to keep that in mind. He wants a long-term deal, and I do not want to give him a long-term deal. Not at all. I don't think he's going to... Wilmer Flores, we got on a bargain contract. I don't think Jonathan VR is worth the 7-year deal that he wants. So we're just going to go another year with him on arbitration. So let's give him 3.5 instead of 3. I thought he would take a little bit less. Alright, so we took 3.5. We have a lot of prospects at the middle infield positions anyway, so I'm not super concerned about losing VR. So Schimpf, we still have for 3 more seasons. He's getting expensive. 3.5. Alright, he took that. That's definitely an increase, so that is for sure. Ricard, yeah, we can get him for like 750 to 800K. 750. All right, 890. Let's just try 800 then, since that's his arbitration estimate. All right, submit offer. We'll go back. And Malik Smith is our last guy. And he wants a lot of money. And he has 3 years left of arbitration eligibility. $4 million for 1 year is fine. Not going to take him to arbitration over that. And so we got all of that done. Minor league free agents. I don't really think any of these guys are that important. Doesn't look like it. I'll let the computer deal with that. I don't want any of these guys back. Well, actually, how's Storin for us? 330 BABIP. Ooh, his walk numbers were terrible for us. Ooh. His numbers were better in Colorado, actually. Better ERA plus. But way lower walk rate, lower strikeout. I think we're good without any of those guys. Tim Lincecum keeps finding his way back on our team anyway, so I'm sure he'll be back here in no time. I've had him twice now in this series. He's actually a decent pitcher for us that year too, for the most part, considering the circumstances. Alright, let's I'm going to clean this mailbox. I don't think anything important came up anyway. This guy extended my contract. Okay, so our scouting director retired. That was why he came back. I wanted to get another guy anyway because I felt that we had been kind of suffering in the draft because he didn't grade out a lot of the prospects very well. So we had the number 1 pick like twice and didn't have anybody who we could really take with it. And I think that number 1 pick was pretty much a bust, that Ortiz, because he hasn't progressed very much. But nothing I really could have done about that. This said our budget only increased to $118 million, but I have 135. I don't know how the fuck that happened. That was weird. So got to the playoffs. Team record. Ricardo Cantu. Draft. Long term. Upgrade a catcher. Why would I do that? Alright, that's nothing I can do about any of that, so whatever. So I think I went after a new trainer, but I think I tried to bring back Alex Anthopoulos for a few more seasons, if I can remember how to get to this front office. Personnel. Oh, so it must be under transactions? Pending offers. So we went after a couple different guys. So this was Alex Anthopoulos for bench coach. He actually he's been with us 2 years, alright. Dan Petrie was the guy we went with. He had outstanding scout amateurs and excellent minor leagues and international. I don't really care so much about major leagues because I tend to look at the stats, the actual raw stats, a little bit more than I do the ratings. Anyway, and I can always look at OSA ratings for that too. And then our trainer has excellent fatigue recovery, legendary other injuries, legendary back and legs, good arm, heel back, and heel legs are good, and heel arms is decent, which is a little bit concerning. But the rest, legendary prevention and good prevention for this is great on top of fatigue recovery. So I offered him a pretty good deal. And then bench coach was Alex Anthopoulos. And yeah, so I like him. He has pretty good sabermetric stats. It's good because I don't really know how to manage my team anyway. So I don't pay him much attention. Really just kind of let the computer do it. So, and since I'm the manager of the team technically, having a bench coach to manage all that is really good. So the 9th is when the Gold Glove Awards get announced. So let's send to that. It'll probably stop us beforehand because 5 people are going to sign contracts. I didn't realize that Colton Wong hit 357 this last year. Alright, so I thought I released Jake Barrett. Or I withdrew my offer. I must not have released him yet. Severino. Which Severino? Pedro Severino. Didn't we used to have Pedro Severino? I think we did. Yeah. Oh, we traded him as part of the... That's weird. That's a terrible swap. Pedro Severino for Luis Ortiz, who has 4.5 star potential. Tony Zike, who's a really good reliever. And $2.2 million. This guy's 2-15. Are you kidding me? Alright, whatever. It's just sim day by day, I guess. And I think the game just froze, which is the first time that's happened in a while. No, it didn't actually. Alright, so if nothing's gonna happen, I'm just gonna sim to this. It'll stop me anyway if anything happens, so I'm not all that concerned about that. So we have two guys in our rotation who have been big trade chips this offseason. Taijuan Walker got traded for I can't remember his name. Gene Segura, which I think was a really good trade for Arizona. It was pretty good for... Alright, so everybody agreed to their contracts. And fans liked the deal for Taijuan Walker and Jonathan VR, as well as Mallex Smith. Alright. But I think that was a good trade for Arizona because getting as many quality arms as you can and then hoping that a few of them pan out is always a good plan. I think Gene Segura in that ballpark got a little bit lucky, but I can see it from Seattle's perspective too. They have good pitching. They need offensive upgrades, so we signed Dan Petry, our scout. Nice. So, can we sim this way too? Okay, cool. I can see it from both sides. It's a pretty good trade. And then Giolito was part of that Adam Eaton trade. I thought it was a little bit of an overpay. I think Adam Eaton is an excellent player, but I don't think that he is as good, or I don't think he's worth Giolito. Like, I think Giolito's value is going to be much greater than Adam Eaton's, personally. But, and Alex Anthopoulos. So, let's pay attention to our mail, because we are going to see... Okay, so they're already here. So, Aaron Nola, Travis d'Arnaud, Brandon Belt, Josh Harrison, Mike Franco, J.P. Crawford, Zach Borenstein for the Expos, Ender Inciarte, and Michael Geddes. So Zach Borenstein, yeah, he's an okay guy. Okay player, that is. And the AL, Joseph Colon, Salvador Perez, Miguel Cabrera, Dustin Pedroia, Wilkerman Garcia, Francisco Lindor, Naruhito Kawano, Kevin Kiermaier, and George Springer. None of those are really surprising. I don't think anybody is going to win an award on our team for anything. So, Rosenthal's NL Reliever of the Year, and Cody Allen is AL Reliever of the Year. Fultinovich got traded for Jordan Sheffield. Fultinovich is 9-11 in 27 starts. That's an awesome record to have. Alright, so Silver Slugger, Salvador Perez. That might be his first good hitting year of his career. Miguel Cabrera, Rougned Odor had an outstanding year hitting-wise. Jesus. Why does Miguel Cabrera not have a WRC+? Alright, that's weird. Well, Salvador Perez doesn't have any RBI either, so I don't know. But 6 WAR for that. Josh Donaldson had a pretty solid year. He's a free agent. Francisco Lindor, Naruhito Kawano. He's turning into a really good player. Oh, he's 30. Yeah, he's one of those auto-generated guys. All right. Mike Trout, Ryan O'Hearn, who I'm pretty sure we could have got at some point. I think I've talked about this. Before. We could have had him before, and Adam Brinkman, who's the stud. So, none of that's any surprise at all. Rookie of the Year. So Smith, Dominic Smith, won Rookie of the Year, 300. And Naruhito Kawano who's listed as a second baseman, even though he got like 17 awards as a left fielder. So Ricardo Cantu is in second place, which is understandable because this guy hit 56 home runs, and Ricardo Cantu had probably a better all-around hitting year, but the power for Kawano is undeniable. He had a 900 OPS, and, well, I guess Cantu had like a slightly lower OPS, but mostly because the slugging wasn't there. He was better at getting on base. Rookie of the year, and so this is going to be the manager of the year, and I don't know how I didn't get it. We went to the playoffs with like no pitchers at all, but I don't think it reads it by that. I think it's just the best, like the best record pretty much. So Francona and Dave Roberts win that. They're pretty much going to be, didn't they both win it this year? I'm pretty sure they did anyway. So, alright, Stan Conti agrees to his contract. So, this is Jake Arrieta. Yeah, Jake Arrieta won the Cy Young. Not the greatest year last year, but he did pretty good this year. And two Dodgers finished in second and third place. Why am I not surprised? Oh, yeah, Sepulveda, I think, won it last year. He had the exact same stat. Well, he pitched more innings. He had the exact same walks, Ks, and ERA. Did he win a Cy Young already? I'm pretty sure. I thought he did anyway. Rookie of the Year, All-Star, Champion. Oh, yeah, because they won 2 titles. Man, those Dodgers are hard to take down. And was it Urias who won that one? No, he hasn't either. Who the hell am I thinking of then? I thought he was a guy on the Dodgers. Oh, Urias had a good year, though. In what was like pretty much his first... No, he had a full year last year, too. 23 games started. Alright. And Strasburg had the best ERA, so I should have seen that coming. Second year in Cleveland, he really settled in. Cody Allen finished second, so I do have hope that one day a reliever might win the Cy Young again. Brinkman won the AL MVP, and Corey Seager, who hit 355 this season. In the NL. Alright, so let's head to salary arbitration, which is only like a week away, but we'll autoplay to it just because it's a little bit easier. On the other trade, I just talked about that Adam Eaton deal. I don't think we have anybody left for arbitration. The Adam Eaton deal. I like Adam Eaton, but I don't think he was worth Lucas Giolito and Reynaldo Lopez and the other 2 guys who are apparently going to be pretty good from what I heard. If they're not top prospects, they're still like good prospects is basically the summary of what I've heard about the trade. But I like Adam Eaton, and I think if it works out, then it works out. But I think that Lucas Giolito is a better long-term play, although Adam Eaton is good and he's under contract for quite a bit. But interesting moves made so far. I didn't really feel like they got a whole lot of value for Chris Sale, so getting all of that for Adam Eaton is definitely a win for the Chicago White Sox. In my opinion, and I think the game froze. Yes, it did. Alright, not a big deal. Sit here and wait. I think it's just like other big things that have happened trade-wise. Most of it's like free agent moves, but I mean, you can really dissect those as much as you want. You're not ever gonna know. Like with trades, I know how good a player is, and like how good the prospects are that they got in return for that player, and I can sit here and say, oh well, yeah, that's good. That's good for that. Like based on this value, that's a good thing. So this is also, I should talk about the last OOTP with this international signing rules. So this is going to be interesting to see. So Bumgarner, Eovaldi, Cespedes, JD Martinez, Jake Arrieta, Garrett Richards might be an interesting play. Ooh, he's had a couple rough seasons, so I don't know about that. Francisco Liriano, who's the guy I was looking at, and Gio Gonzalez. International guys. Anyone good? Does not look like it. Out of Taiwan. That guy's not bad. 3-star. Definitely a reliever. Oh, never mind. He's not a reliever. He's not demanding a lot of money, though. He's actually pretty good. I'm going to offer him a deal. Oh, we have... Why do we have so much money for free agents this... Hold on. Something's wrong. We have a ton of money. Did it, like... Did we super undershoot our, like, expectations? Or is it just... It must be because we saved so much money in arbitration. Yeah. Where's all that... Where is all that money coming from? That it's projecting. Oh... Candelario, Giolito, Jorge Lopez are all eligible for arbitration next year, so that's where those estimates are coming. So we really undershot our arbitration estimates. So we have a ton of money to spend in free agency. Not that I'm going to blow it, because it says that we only have $15 million after this year. So, but I'm definitely going to offer this guy a deal. He seems worth it. Rogelio Aguilar, or Salazar, excuse me. Does this guy have good potential? No. Guisima. And we already looked at Woo Suk Jun. So, it's free agency filing. Zach Cohen, Bull Schultz, and Wade Miley already signed. Did guys hit free agency then yet? Or no? Yes, okay, they did. So, Bryce Harper is demanding $41 million. Jesus Christ, this is ridiculous. Look at this contract. What is this? This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, and this is sad because he's probably going to make even more than this. This is ridiculous. $45 million a season. The sad part is we could afford that too. I'm absolutely not going to sign him though. We don't need that. I think we're good offensively. We could use some help on the pitching side of things, but not for $35 million. Even Trevor Rosenthal's demanding $16 million. Now I'm scared. I don't know what is I'm kind of scared of what. Ooh, no compensation for our oldest Chapman. I'm kind of scared of what Taijuan Walker's going to demand now. 2 years for our oldest Chapman. Now I understand there's moral implications with this, but he only wants 2 years. He only wants 2 years. He's no compensation. I don't have to give up a draft pick. That's going to be sweet next year when I can actually not worry about having draft pick compensation. I'm gonna keep that in the back of my mind. Jose Fernandez doesn't want very much either. He only wants $24 million. Unfortunately, I wish I. Oh, he has compensation. He also didn't have it. He spent like half the year in the not half the year. He only made 5 stars. He did lead the league in strikeouts per 9 innings. So yeah, why was he in the minors? He must have made like rehab starts. What kind of contract is Jose Fernandez looking for? That's a really good contract. But I mean, we're gonna undershoot our arbitration estimates next year anyway. Like, there's no doubt about that. But I don't want to be handicapped with this contract because there's gonna be guys I actually want to sign to extensions. Hisashi Iwakuma though is a good option. Ooh, 126 whip though. That's coming off of a 111 season before that though. I don't like that contract. I don't like those stats, I should say, and he doesn't very have many good pitches either. Wayne Chen, 107 ERA plus. Oh, he only started 8 games, and he was terrible last year. So, I mean, there's that. Garrett Richards, we decided had a couple of bad seasons in a row. Liriano, I'm interested in because he's had a couple of good years in this. He's a little bit of an issue with walks, but he's been solid, middle of the road. The only problem is he wants $12.5 million, which isn't a lot, but he's a compensation guy, and I wouldn't want him on more than he only wants a 1-year deal. We don't have a protected first-round pick though, and our farm system is still kind of weak. Is Garrett Richards a compensation guy? I might sign him to a 1-year contract. No compensation. So you're banking on him overperforming his stats because he's had a couple of rough years in a row now. 3 rough years in a row, actually. Well, that year he was almost a 4-win pitcher, so I guess that's not really having a rough year, but a couple of rough seasons. Let's take a look at his FIP and see how he's regressed. Yeah, I don't really like that. He's a no compensation guy though, and he wants how much? Why does he want an 8-year deal? He wants an 8-year deal. No way. That is ridiculous. But we do need pitching, so that's a name to keep in mind. I can always bump down the years. What kind of year did Wei Chen have? We already looked at him, actually. Not a bad year, but not very much to work with in that sense either. We've had Jesse Chavez already. We know how that turns out. I wish we had a little bit of extra money in the future that I didn't have to worry about, like, extensions with. Because I would totally sign Jose Fernandez. I don't want to sign any of these guys because they want way too much money. And I do want to keep my options open in the future. So let's maybe make a move on these guys. So Hisashi and Garrett Richards are no comp guys. I'm really, like, seriously considering going after Aroldis Chapman too. So Gio Gonzalez is another guy I was looking at, but he wants $22 million. Although he would be probably well worth it. Had a couple of really good seasons. Well, last season wasn't as good. You'd also be poaching him away from the Dodgers. Yeah, his K rate plummeted last season. And he only has 2 pitches at this point. Mediocre control. Not a... His demands might drop, though, later on in the offseason. You never know. Adam Wainwright, what kind of year did he have? 307 BABIP, 103 ERA plus, 445 ERA. Definitely had a better year with Oakland the year before. No doubt about that. He's also fragile at this point in his career, and he's definitely declining. Trevor Cahill, what kind of stats are we looking at with him? He actually had pretty good... No, never mind. He walked a ton of people. Well, actually, it's not that bad, though. He didn't allow a lot of hits. That's frightening. No compensation, though. Alright, what do we want to do? What is the move here? So if I go by the OSA ratings instead, nothing really else here. How is Drew Hutchison a 3-star player, or 2.5-star player? He couldn't do that for us, though. If he had a 4.17 ERA and a 1.18 WHIP, I wouldn't have ever traded him. Screw you. You're terrible. Alright. What do we want to do here? I don't really want any of these guys. They're not very good. Kevin Gausman. What's up with him? Oh my god, he's been terrible. That's what's up with him. He is garbage. Straight garbage. Not even a good, like, K rate or anything that, like, could give me any sort of hope. We had Drew Smiley before. I don't even know who that guy is. Tim Lincecum. We know the story with him. Alright. I do want to sign Garrett Richards. Just as, like, a 1-year flyer. So I'm going to offer him a 1-year, $8 million deal. No, he's not going to go for that. And I'm not giving him 5 years because he's been garbage. So, Hisashi did start 33 games. He was definitely an innings eater at the very least. 126 whip. He had a good year before that. His K rate's going down. His ERA isn't super great, but he only wanted like a 1-year deal. And he has excellent control, which pans out pretty well. Oh no, he didn't want a 1-year deal apparently. Let's go down to 1 year instead of 4. Alright, how about instead of doing that, since we have the window to do this, because we can always trade these guys who are on shorter deals if we need to. We'll make this a vesting option with the requirement of him starting 30 games. What about that? Does that work for you? Alright. Because we can pull him at the end and that option won't vest. I'll just have to remember that I put that on there. So, Let's keep looking. I'd like to sign Wei Chen too. We need a lefty. He's had pretty decent stats. The Marlins a couple years ago. Wasn't too bad in the AL. He only wanted a one. This was the guy who wanted a 1-year deal, wasn't it? Okay, yeah. So he only wanted a 1-year, $2.2 million deal. So we'll do that. That's definitely fine by me. I don't have a problem with that at all. Get a little diversity on this team, and we'll sign another guy who doesn't want very much money either. We had Jesse Chavez already. Derek Holland, how has he been? He had a pretty good year a couple years ago for Washington. 129 whip, 112 ERA plus. He was in the minors most of last year and performed pretty decently. Not the greatest. He's an option at the very least. Oh, he didn't play very much. Oh, he played on the bullpen. Okay, never mind. That's a bad idea. One thing you don't want to do in this game is take guys who've been in the bullpen for a while and try and make them starters again. How's Kohler been? He got BABIP'd hard last year. Yeah. The last couple years have been bad for him. So we're definitely going to avoid that. Edwin Jackson is not a guy I'm a huge fan of, but he can eat innings. He's not good, though. Philip Umber. Travis Wood. He doesn't look like he's had that bad of a career. A little below average. Could probably do slightly better. For that price, anyways. But I really don't like. Starling Peralta. Who the hell is this guy? Never been in the majors. But he had a really good stretch in the minor leagues last year of 40 innings. Not a guy I'm interested in, though, overall. Alright. Henderson Alvarez, how's he? Oh, we had him. He was terrible. I remember now. I forgot we had him on our team. We've already done the Henderson Alvarez thing. Sign this guy as just like a minor league option. Just so we have options on the roster. Like, we can always send these guys down. This Korean guy. Definitely an option for us to have. Alright. So that's good for starters. Let's look at relievers now. And Aroldis is available. Doesn't want very much. Brett Cecil's also available. Kelvin Herrera wants a bigger deal. Addison Reed, yeah, this definitely drops off after a while. Hector Rondon. He is fragile, but I imagine he only wants like a couple $1 million deal. Whoops. Not what I wanted to do. Why is his name capital now? Alright, he only wants a $1 million deal. Or a 1-year, $1 million deal. Let's do that. Because you can never have too many good bullpen arms. Let's edit him though. Oh, I forgot how to do this. Delete. Alright, well, his name's just going to be capital from now on, I guess. Why is Mike Dunn want so much money? Oh, Marco Estrada might be able to start for us. Wait, did we already do that? No, but he's been garbage, so. I forgot they list a bunch of guys who were formerly starters as relievers. Who is this guy? Did I offer him money already? Oh yeah, I did. I did offer him a contract. Sergio Romo, definitely a reliever. Did we already do the Pomeranz thing? No, he's been on Montreal and he's been slightly above average. He's got good stuff. I don't understand. It must be the stamina. Alright, I wanted to get on this Chapman. He wants a 2-year deal. So I'll definitely do that for you. Because we can always move money around. And we can trade him if we want to. Like, he's not on the team forever. Who's this guy? Chris Hall. Cole Hamels is down there too. This guy's never played in the majors, but he's got really good stuff, and he can be a solid minor league reliever for us. Chris Hall. This is taking a long ass time. I'm already up to an hour. We're gonna cut this in pieces probably anyway, but he had a really good year for the Mets last year, and the year before that. Let's sign Cole Hamels. I don't like that. Alright, well, he's going to take a 1-year deal, so I'm definitely okay with that in that case. If he wants just a 1-year deal, go ahead. Alright, we need still a couple of other things. That's not what I wanted. We still need a couple of other things. Is posted players a thing? No. Alright, so does anybody have like good potential? That's what I want to see. Oh, I didn't look at closers. I just looked at... Okay. So closers, is there anybody who wants like a cheap deal? Does not really look like it. Well, the Steven Johnson guy might not be bad. Offer him a lower level deal for 1 year. Sure. And that looks like that's it for closers anyway. At least ones that would be worth some money. Catcher. Don't imagine there's going to be very much here. Wow, this is a fucking garbage catching class. Wilson Ramos and Wellington Castillo. We're good at catcher anyway. Daeho Lee. He's been pretty solid. We're at Lowry. Why is he listed as a first baseman? Oh, it's just these guys can play these positions too. So what can Brett Lowry play? First, second, and third. I mean, he's not a good hitter at all, but he might be a solid infielder for us. Wow, Kendrys Morales wants a lot of money. He's not very good. Trying to make sure. I don't think I've offered anybody with with compensation or anything, because for some reason, even though he was on LA for the last 2 years, Aroldis Chapman didn't get qualified, and he was just as effective this year as he was his first year in LA. So I don't understand why they didn't qualify him at all. Why was his ERA plus so much worse? Well, his ERA was worse, but why would, like, oh, because his walk rate went back up. No, his home run rate back up, excuse me. His walk rate's exactly the same. Dustin Ackley might be a good option. Versatile, can play infield and outfield. And he actually had a pretty decent year for Toronto, 809 OPS. I'm going to sign Dustin Ackley. Because even if he doesn't work out, like, these are just guys to have on the roster, or like in the organization. We can always option them and then bring them back up. John Singleton might be a good 1-year grab too for the minor leagues. And he could potentially become like Scott Vince like is for us now, because he had a really good year last year. Well, he didn't make very much contact, but everything else was like really good. So we can take a bunch of flyers on these 1-year guys. Like, nothing's stopping us. We have a ton of money, so sign anybody who's like mildly appealing. Wellington Castillo, Brendan Moss. Brendan Moss might not be bad, but he's fragile. He's a good outfielder though, a good backup outfielder. And no, he had a bad hitting year. He's not the hitter he once was. There's no Brandon Moss. Daniel Murphy's bad. Guisima. This guy's actually pretty good. He wants a lot of money though. Not willing to give him that kind of money. If this price comes down, sure, but alright, let's move on to other positions. Second base. This free agent class is kind of really top heavy and not very good beyond that. Jordan Negrin is getting a lot of money for some reason. Brett Lowry, DJ LeMahieu, what happened to him? He can really only play second base. Well, I'll tell you what happened to him. The only skill that he had on offense went away because he stopped making contact last season. So he's not somebody that I'd be interested in. Brian Dozier, LeMahieu we looked at. Jung Ho Kong can play third and short. Sure, let's give him a deal. What's the worst that's gonna happen with these guys? Like Kong can play the positions that Ackley can't, so that'll work out from that perspective. Third base. Yeah, they obviously have Donaldson here. Josh Harrison. He'd be pretty good. Never mind. He doesn't play many positions. I thought he was going to play a ton of positions effectively, like he does in real life. Mike Moustakas. He was terrible once he got traded, it looks like, but he had a good start in San Diego at least. You know, he's an Iron Man, but that only matters so much when you're bad. Kong we already offered. Martin Prado. Can play third and left. Can't really play many other positions. Good at making contact. Solid this past year. Doesn't want very much money. Makes good contact. Avoids strikeouts. He's 35 years old, though. I think we'll pass. Not that I care about age of any of these other positions really that much, but yeah, you know, we got the money for 1 year, sure. We can cut these guys anyway. Like we're not bound to them just because we offer them deals. We can always withdraw them too. All right. Oh, shortstop. I wanted to look at. Once I'm done with all this, I'm gonna cut out two, so I can figure out what to do. This guy's a really good defensive shortstop, but he expects to be playing in the majors, and there's no way in hell with all the people I just offered contracts to that guy would ever make it on my roster. So let's scroll up to the top, please. Thank you. Brantley Cespedes, Brett Gardner. What did Brett Gardner do that made him so have a 661 OPS? That's what happened. He's been 3 different teams the last 3 years too. It's interesting. AJ Pollock, Josh Hamilton. Forgot Josh Hamilton was a player. Geyer, Brandon Moss, we already discussed. We do need a backup outfielder though. A guy who can, preferably a guy who can play all 3 positions. Andrew McCutcheon. Can Geyer play all 3? Relatively decent. Oh well, we do have. Well, we do have that. Well, we have Ackley who can play a couple positions, but we also have Joey Ricard in the organization. I think we're good. Justin Ackley can play. I can't really play right, but he can play first, second, left, and center. I'm sure we have a guy on our roster who can play right field. Thought that was something important, but it wasn't. Alright, right field. And we'll also take a look at DH, see if there's any good options. Because sometimes it'll list guys as DHs, and then they can just play random positions anyway. Martin Prado, can he play right field? No, he cannot. Kyle Waldrop. Or Waldrop. Not good. Not good at all. Alright, so it looks like that's it for right field. Anybody listed as DH other than Nelson Cruz? Wow, why did he get sent down to the minors anyway? What happened to all his ratings? Like, he's actually still pretty good. It seemed like anyway. Thought he was. Alright. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in to the first part of this off season. I will have the second part out within the next week. I have to still finish recording it. I'm almost done with it. I need like a couple more parts, like setting the lineups and stuff like that. But I will be wrapping that up shortly. I have school this week, so I wanted to have these videos ready to go because they don't take a whole lot of effort. I love like recording itself. I have to do a lot of simulation, obviously, but this video has already run pretty long, so thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and see you next time for more OOTP expansion franchise. See you next time.